agenda, and while I guess it's safe to say somehow we missed that Phil was going to be here tonight, you made a request.
Yeah, I don't know when it was. I can't remember who I talked to. I don't know who it was.
No problem. We've got you on the agenda.
No, I appreciate that.
We will,
I appreciate
you're here,
Yeah.
and we'll bring you in early.
I appreciate it.
So, that being said, the first order of business is the April 28th minutes. I have a couple of items. It's GAD, go there, you have to, this is several times standard GAD.
Take care of that.
No, okay. And I think for both the Snyder and the Hall, there, instead of having comments about the agenda, I think it should be, the minutes should reflect that there was a discussion of 32425 Snyder property request for GAB for property removal from the Rosary Valley. But we had, the Planning Commission had a discussion at that meeting, and then I think that's great. I like that you highlighted it. And then for the Hoff property, the Planning Commission discussed the 12/3/24 request by, and I don't remember, I remember the attorney, I think the attorney made it.
Formerly, Stephanie Brophy.
Stephanie Brophy. Request by Stephanie Brophy. Exactly. On behalf of the Hoff family to have their property included in the easements. Under old business, review of the tax comprehensive plan. Although, any other comments, observations, thoughts? Okay. They get a motion for acceptance of the minutes with the changes.
Make a motion to accept the minutes?
Motion by Kevin,
Second.
second by Dave Grayson. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, guys, and- First item, I got a phone call from Neil. I think you may remember Neil, former mayor of Windsor.
Who?
And Susan Krebs, maybe a name you remember, she was years in the state legislature.
Yeah.
She's kind of retired, but she's not. She was brought in by the county commissioners to deal with this document that came out from the governor. And it's, well, from that. It's a document having to do with housing in the state of Maryland. So we're chatting, and she was saying, you know, since she understands, she's checking with all 8 jurisdictions. She is a staff member, but as she said, because I'm not shy and quiet, it appears that I'm now leading this. So we were the first jurisdiction she reached out to because she heard that we're working on our comprehensive plan. She kept calling it our master plan, our comprehensive plan, and wanted to know what we were doing about addressing housing as a result of what the governor said. And I said, I don't know what you're talking about. So I was going to reach out to Javier, and she said, well, you know, I'll send you the legislation to take a look at it. She says, I'm still waiting for it. I just was assigned this task. So I said, okay, I was driving when we talked. So I said, I'll take a look at it and I'll get back to you. She says, well, I've also got somebody's going to work with me to do a little brief on this. It was 196 pages. So I haven't gotten through it.
What?
And when I reached out to her, she said, yeah, I'm still waiting for it also. I've got somebody working with me, so we'll do a little bit of it. But, so, I think you were on, I think you originally, Dave, you ended up a text or something like that and said, I think you ought to, and it should be a planning commission chair. So it's kind of follow up for you, but it's for the group. as we look at this, because we didn't specifically address low-income housing in the comprehensive plan, but she wanted to know what we would do with it.
So that's what it is, low-income housing.
Yes,
And workforce. I
And
think they also use the phrase workforce housing.
workforce housing, okay.
Oh.
Yeah, yes,
We're addressing workforce housing right next door.
yes.
There you go.
Well, that,
Maybe yet, but.
I mean, it is,
yes,
very much so.
sure. Oh,
I mean, but it's not a lot, but it is.
It is lower income housing.
Maybe that's-
So, but that's where that was coming from. And, I said we could specifically go and have a section on that in our plan. Sykesville, Westminster, it might be more logical for them, but, so anyway, so that's something that I'll keep an eye on when we look through this. If there's anybody picks up any points in here,
sorry.
go ahead on that note.
Is,
That,
I'm just gonna-
Go ahead.
I was just saying, maybe we don't know yet, but are there requirements in there that we are going to need to address in our?
There probably are, because there always are.
Yes.
Now, the nature of those requirements, I don't know, I'm familiar sort of with that particular point of interest.
Okay.
At the state level. The difficulty in a place like New Windsor is unless we tear down significant parts of town to build new housing, we have the space we have the housing we have. Now, I think one of the things that the state has been discussing, and not just with Governor Moore, has been hearing about this for a while, to make sure that zoning regulations, land development regulations, setbacks, et cetera, all of those things do not inadvertently or advertently make it more difficult to build or to convert to lower income or workforce housing. And that it has been a drum they've been beating for a while down there. I don't know that we have anything really, again, there to look at. We have, the village center is where most of our less expensive and rental housing is, as far as I'm aware. And there isn't a whole lot you can do here, because nobody's building anything new here. But I think Mr. Kevin's point is well taken, that whatever we have, we should write down and make sure it is in the section. In fact, it's funny that you mentioned that, because this very day I went and got, this is my little pocket part, because it's easier to carry than the whole book, just to make sure as we're going through this, that I know that a lot of this stuff is covered, but I don't know if a lot of this stuff is identified as, look here, Maryland Department of Planning, this is what you're going to be looking for. These aren't the droids you're looking for. So I think it's worthwhile keeping that in mind.
We should brag very much about what we've done.
Oh yeah, this administration would love this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
With Farrell.
So this, but, and one of the charts that you'll have in the version that I just gave you has the median priced housing for the Windsor and the state and the county. And I would think the housing that it sounds like they're discussing possibly coming into the area that down the road is off property might also address that. Again, specifics don't have that yet.
Yeah.
I don't think the house property is likely to be workforce housing.
But if you're talking about townhouses,
Not if you're talking about $395,000 townhouses.
Well, but we, in our,
I have
let's
no
step,
idea
but
what
that's
will
just,
happen,
let's
right?
just step back.
Yeah.
Our comprehensive plan does not dictate the kind of houses that anybody's going to build on any infill that we have in town. We just lay out specifications and things like that. And so as long as our specifications are clear and clean, what they end up building, right? We're not tailoring them to one way or another. We are just putting.
We are not,
Yes.
but that's not to say that that wouldn't be really attractive to people down the road anyhow.
Yes.
Because I've been hearing about this for years. It hasn't happened yet.
So you think funding might be tied
Well,
to,
funding is definitely
tied?
to our densities, and we've talked about that before, the priority funding areas, and we've talked about that with the Hawthorne people. Because if your density is not sufficiently high,
Yeah,
the state may say, yeah, sure, you can build your houses, but you're not gonna get a dime for your water system or your roads or whatever else. So that is something we need to keep in mind, but you're right, I mean, it doesn't say you have to build, but it wants everybody, not just us, it's not picking on us, to at least make a good faith effort to match what it is they want us to do. And I think that's where the fire company comes in.
Sure.
It's small, but we're small.
yeah.
Exactly.
We don't need to show that we've done a lot, we just need to show that what we've done and take credit for it.
Yeah.
Did they have any numbers with this, like the price of this housing? Or
The
is it,
state, I don't know.
like you just said, 300
If
and
it's
something?
100, well, I'm just
You
saying.
said 300 something is not, okay, well, what is?
What's the median? Median here is something, is over 300, isn't it? Yeah,
I want to say 330,
Yeah. it's significantly over 300.
And a lot of times the lower, they rely on public transportation. We do not have that infrastructure in Carroll County, really, so.
Yeah. Cats
A
is,
lot of, yeah.
That's a good point.
Oh, it's gone now.
Exist anymore.
Oh.
But they don't call it cats, there's something else.
oh, but it's, okay,
No,
cause
it's the government, they have to
Yeah.
change names every 4 or 5 years.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
I remember making my daughter do that. Get a job, and how am I gonna get there? There's a thing called CATS, a bus system.
But
But-
not out here, there is.
They would come pick her up.
Even if she's not handicapped in any
Yeah,
way?
yeah, you could schedule, they just said, oh, we're gonna be by at this time, so they,
Every day?
yeah, if she wanted it, you could schedule it.
For how much?
There wasn't, I don't remember there being a fee, to be honest with you. But it would get her there either way early or way late, so she was always way early, and she worked around it where she got rides more than she used it, but it would say, okay, I'm gonna be in New Windsor at this time if you'd like us to pick you up.
That's amazing. No wonder they went out of business.
And this was 15
Yeah,
years,
they catch you
I was gonna
over
say
that.
17 years ago,
Yeah,
because she didn't get a license, she was like 14 or 15,
yeah.
and working at McDaniel.
last year about this time, the early days of my knee, I reached out to, I still call it cats.
Yeah.
And they do the same thing. Well, this is when we're kind of scheduled to come to Windsor.
Yes.
It is really difficult to have an appointment.
Correct. They don't work around you, you work around them. And I offered to let her ride her bicycle to school because they didn't have a bike rack on the bus, which if they did, that would have been good because the ride up there was what she complained about. The ride back was all downhill.
Mhm.
But we never got to the bike aspect.
So at any rate,
But yeah,
I don't know that there
we
are-
don't have that.
I have no idea.
We have
if there
no
are
public
190
transportation
pages,
really. I
they've
didn't
got-
realize cats went away. That's a shame.
warranties for crying out loud.
Hmm.
But it's coming, and there are more and more and more state requirements on individual jurisdictions across the board. Bingo.
Okay. Town council updates.
There's a couple of things I'll bring to everyone's attention, so I'm sure everybody's curious about our vacant planning commission position. So the town staff has put out that information on various places, and applications are due by June 16th. They're supposed to send a letter of interest to Mark and myself. So far, none received. Is that the same as you have?
Interesting conversation Kevin had with Ryan.
Not me.
Ryan told me he's still on the planning commission.
Why would he tell them that?
Don't know. Kevin said, are you sure he's not? And I said, well, I talked with him directly, and I talked him into staying for a while. I tried to actually get him to be here for November, December, whenever Wayne
Yeah.
came to talk, and he didn't make it then, and hasn't been back since, and hasn't responded. I just sent him a text to see if, help me, because maybe Kevin, but he said, he said he had met him once or twice before from Neil. Work, and he said, works for Windsor, but I'm still operating since he specifically said to me, he just wasn't able to make it back, and it just, public notice. So, we still go that way, so nobody's applied. I can't believe that people want people to do that.
Oh, me either.
It's a great opportunity.
Hey,
The benefits.
you
I
might
mean-
want to try your next door neighbor, see if he's in, oh man, he's already good on it.
So that's
I
that.
think I can bring him back. I don't know.
So this past month, as you all know, the town held its election, and you all know that Kevin Cornick is now our mayor, Mayor Kevin Cornick. The town council member is Dante Howard, who lives in Snyder's Summit. And we have an advertisement out for the open seat as well. So the town staff did that as well. So there's an advertisement out requesting, again, a letter of intent sent into the town, and we will be discussing that. And as of maybe yesterday, I know that we have received one interested applicant for that. We have one open position, so 1 and 1 is good, but more is always better to stir up some interest. So we'll see where that goes.
I'm sorry, Dave, when's that closed?
Dana, you want to help me on that? 9th? Okay, June 9th. 10th. Okay, so it's coming up quick. Okay. Main Street and High Street paving, we've maybe talked about that before. I might have mentioned it too. It was supposed to start in May, but with all the rain, things got delayed. So they're still telling us early June they will be starting. So now it's early June. So maybe in the next, I'll be generous and say 10 days, we should see some on-site maneuvering, and they're going to be milling from the railroad tracks all the way up to the entrance of Snyder's Summit. So they'll be doing Main Street and High Street.
So essentially, when they put the new line in, that area?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and where the road was, and this is gonna be they're gonna be milling and an overlay, but this is not the final pavement that we will expect when they do our Main Street beautification thing. This is
Will it be both sides of the street?
yes, it's supposed to be a full pave, both sides, but, so we'll see. Beautification Day was held, when did I have May 10th? It wasn't May 10th, it was the end of April. Wanted to thank former council member Sharon Gribben-Lindeman. She helped lay everything out and was there to help us lay out the gardens and work in there. The only other participant that wasn't the mayor and the council member were a few of the spouses of the council members. So it was a little disappointing that the town turnout was 0 citizens other than Sharon. And even then Mayor Roop was leading the effort to paint the fire hydrants red, white, and blue on Main and High Street for the October wall that's coming in. And he was a workforce of 1 that was doing that day as well. So I was pretty disappointed with the turnout. We did get the parks about 99% completed. The Public Works crew had to get some additional mulch and finish it off, but it was a shame that we don't get more participation. Maybe next year we'll try something different and see if we can't drum up some additional help. It's not like we're out there waving at cars and glad handing. We're actually out there working and getting this job done from 8 to 12 and trying to get out of there. And many hands make light work, but a few hands make a pretty sweaty day.
The date did get moved this year.
We changed it once because of maybe had to change it twice, but once because of the weather and once because participation nobody was around, and then we had to dump it. But we had ample information out there for everyone, and none of the days had any overwhelming response to help. So anyway, I'll jump off of that.
I could just piggyback on that, if anybody is still interested in being a part of it, I told Neil, we haven't gotten together since he's gotten back. But we're gonna go, we still have fire hydrants. So if anybody would like to be part of that, it's really not complicated, it's $3, I'll let you figure them out. There's a sample right outside the door, but you know, he wants to get all of them that are in town limits. So you can let me know, or not let Neil know, but we're gonna get together sometime this month and go back at dinner and try to get the rest of them. Those who are retired, if we're planning on doing that. Not that you don't ever spend any time doing volunteer. I think you spend it. Just a thought.
That's all I had, Mark.
Oh, okay, thank you, Dave. Javier, as you notice, isn't here. He had another commitment, wasn't able to make it. He sent me late Friday afternoon, and I forwarded it to everybody. It's the county's annual report. If you'll recall, last month, we took a look at our portion and accepted it, so that's now part of the county's annual report. So it'll be in everybody's mailbox except Dave's. For some reason, when I did Dave, it went .gov as opposed to .org.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I don't recall
Did we
receiving
do
that.
.gov
No.
before we had to make the change?
No.
Okay. So I'm not sure why, but I just noticed that before.
Okay.
So I'll send that.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay, we do have something to do for the town, but before we do that, let's hear from Phil, since he's taking some time to come in and chat with us.
Well, I
It's
appreciate
been a
you.
while.
Appreciate you letting me come again. Yeah. I think what I've done here is I've gotten a little bit more organized. I got a little bit more information for you. So these maps, I have enough for everybody. These are courtesy of JP Smith. He helped me out a lot getting the maps together.
And this is a smaller version of what's over there.
Yeah, this is just a smaller version of what's here.
Thank you for this.
Thanks, Phil.
Yes.
Just so you know, Phil, last month, we did have a discussion here at this meeting.
Okay.
And we did, as a group, agree unanimously that we would go ahead
Okay.
and take this out of the growth area now,
Okay.
that you would request it. So we've already done that.
Well, I appreciate that.
So
Okay.
I
I just wanted to maybe just take a step back and give you a little bit of history on the property. The property, the barn and the house was built, the barn was built before the house back, I think it was 1864 is the date on the barn. But anyway, I just, the Englers, which are relatives of mine, and the Snaders ended up owning the property in the 30s. But anyway, the Englers and the Snaders are just one of many, many families in this community that have a long history. And, as things change within our family, with my mom and all, my brother and I, talked about it, and my initial meeting with Neil was just about a year ago. We met at Lampert Avenue, and we went down and walked the property. And I think what we're looking to do is transfer or donate this parcel to the town, basically for an opportunity, at least this is my thought, for an opportunity maybe to put in some kind of a walking trail, nature trail park, maybe something similar to what Union Bridge has beyond flood zone. Okay, those are just my thoughts, and I'm sure that there's grant money out there. I'm sure Neil, he's used to writing grants. He could probably find some money for the town to help with that. But those were my thoughts. And I just wanted to maybe just go over on the phase. Nothing has really changed. The only thing that has changed is if you look at phase one. I just wanted to point out, we would request down the road if the Condons ever decide they're retiring and they don't want to farm the town property, that we give them the first right of refusal to rent that property. To farm it, we would request that if possible. And the other thing was, this is sort of for Michelle. So evidently there's, my understanding from JP, because I'm on the Ag Preservation Board, and there's a situation in Tawnytown similar to this one where the property was removed out of the growth plan. But for some reason, the landowner didn't get the property removed out of the water and sewer planning area. Well, that caused a problem when this application went to Annapolis, because they rejected it because of that. Okay, so there's actually two aspects. I'm sure you're probably gonna have to vote on both, I would think. But the water and sewer planning area, according to what JP's telling me, is gonna require, planning commission approval.
I think it will require this planning commission approval and also the county.
And that's what I mean, the
Because
county.
they're the ones
Yeah.
that really run the water and sewer management.
Correct, yeah, so it's gonna require county approval, which,
So you got a lot of hoops.
yeah, oh, I know, and that, I mean, I don't think it's a big hoop. I
No,
really don't, I think it may be a little time consuming,
I
but,
just don't want to miss it.
no, and that's why JP gave me a date of 8/1. Okay, to have, I guess the town would write a letter to the planning commission requesting that the planning commission take up a vote to take it out of the water and sewer planning area.
Sounds good, but I think the next thing to do is for us, or for me, or for somebody, to talk to the JP, to talk to, Captain Daly, over at the county. Right. I'm a firm believer in saying, how do you want me to do this?
Yes, I agree.
Instead of
I
me
agree.
doing it and then having them say, you should ask me first.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I think that's the next step, so that we make sure that we're all, and say, hey, we're coming, and
Yeah.
here we are.
yeah.
This is the one you already know all about.
Who's JP?
Andy Smith.
I'm sorry, JP Smith, he's the, he's in charge of the Ag Preservation Program here in Carroll County.
Son of Parker Smith.
And,
Great farm renown.
absolutely, absolutely. But, you know, I don't think it's any secret, I'm a very big proponent of ag preservation. All of our farms were put in ag preservation, and my dad put the earliest one in back in the early 80s. It was the first time we got it in. This is the only parcel that's not in ag preservation. That's why we want to put these parcels in ag preservation. After all the hoops are gone through, we intend on applying for the easements as the money becomes available down the road. The phase two, I'm going to leave that. I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about that. I'd be happy to come back and talk about that. If you have any questions now, that's fine, but basically phase two has to do with the water rights, the future water rights. Okay, something the town may or may not be interested in. I don't know anything about a water feasibility study, how it's conducted, who would do it, how much it would be, or whether it's even worth the town to even think about it, but I know water's always on everybody's mind. It's here. So, that's part two of the proposal that can be done down the road.
There's a difference between, what's the difference between yellow and blue?
Oh, okay, so, believe it or not, the map that I have left is not colored. So, where's that, who's that? So, this particular part, here's the proposed town parcel. Okay, so several years ago, my brother and I took the all conveyances off of my mom's property and had this divided up into 3 parcels. Okay, so each of these 2 parcels up here next to the water tower or tank, they both have 1 lot. Okay, I know they're zoned R40 now, But we have one, we divided them for one lot for somebody in the family to have. So basically, that's why it was divided into three parts. But the orange is what is the sort of the area, is the area that would be donated to the town.
So there's no distinction in what you're talking about.
I mean, as far.
One, two, and three.
Oh, no, just different parcels.
I mean, 1 and 2.
Yeah, they're just STAT parcels.
Okay.
Yeah, they're different STAT parcels, but they used to be all one parcel.
So 3 is where your big home place is.
Yes, three is the home,
And then the little green along the highway is just a bunch of other little things that are in there.
Yeah, there's other houses that are there, their houses, yeah. And then you see the railroad tracks cutting through, and then we're gonna be keeping a little section on the other side of the railroad tracks. That includes the creek. But the parcel that we're gonna donate to the town is very easily accessible off of Lampert Avenue.
Is that mostly wooded? It looks like it's mostly wooded. That lot.
The town parcel?
Yeah, what will be the town parcel?
Well, it depends on what you define as wooded.
True, I'm a city girl.
To me-
7 trees in one place.
To me, when I say a woods, I'm talking about really healthy oak trees, I'm talking, these are more like scrubs,
Okay.
just scrub trees, and I don't think there's any real good hardwoods on there at all. I mean, if you go back on Google Earth, which I did, and I never thought I could get it, but I went back to the mid-80s on here, and this, when I was a lot younger, I used to run cattle in here, and this all used to be clear.
So it's
Okay.
just
It was all
stuff-
pasture
Yeah,
land.
you can remember.
Oh, yeah.
It was all pasture.
We all run through that, yeah.
Yeah, it
That
was all pasture.
land.
This was all clear. So what is in here now, I mean, is not, it's not the kind of timber you're gonna cut for lumber.
No, I'm
Yeah.
just.
Scrub
trying to
stuff, yeah,
Just be nosy.
It's just
yeah,
kind of like land being reclaimed by Mother Nature.
pretty much.
It will be. Leave it alone long enough.
Yeah, but, I mean, I think it's gonna be a win-win for both of us. I mean, we look forward to giving back something to this community. I mean, New Windsor's very, even though I'm not a resident, New Windsor's very, very close to my heart and my family's heart. And, we both have 2 daughters that are gonna, well, hopefully they're growing up in this area. So, I mean, they're grown, and one of them definitely is here on the farm to take on the farm, so. But I do appreciate your time, and I appreciate I didn't realize you were already voted on.
Yeah. Well, this is just step 1.
Yeah,
They have voted in their proposed
in the proposed,
to
okay,
the electeds.
yeah, okay.
So it's not a done deal, but it has.
Right. Does it have to go to the council then?
Yeah, eventually the entire master plan
Okay.
will go to the council, and the council has options, accept it all, reject it, ask for amendments, blah, blah, blah. And it also has to go to adjoining jurisdictions and the state, and a whole bunch of other folks have to look at it.
What do you think about the 8/1 date? Is that something you might be able to work with?
You're not gonna have a plan by 8/1.
No, I mean-
Plan by 8/1. What,
To get
For a
it out-
letter.
To get the planning commission to get it out of the water and sewer service area.
don't know that that can be done easily. I just don't know that it
Oh, you
can, I just don't know that it can.
Okay.
Because, the way we have been working with you and the opposite number up there on the Hoff property was that it would be part of the, the overall ultimately adopted master plan. Now, where was that going to, the ag preservation or to the?
Planning
county?
commission.
To the county?
Yeah, which Matt's on that commission,
Oh, no,
actually.
I'm familiar with that.
Yeah.
I know that.
Well, let me ask you another question.
I can't answer
Is it
whether we
actually,
can do it alone, like a freestanding thing,
Okay.
if that would be adequate for your ultimate purpose,
right,
which is actually beyond getting the county planning commission to buy in, but it's getting to make sure you're out of the plan so you can do whatever else you want
I
to do.
apply for the,
Yeah.
is is it automatic when there's a property in the growth area, it's automatically in the water and sewer?
No,
So this, how do you check to see if our property actually is in the water and sewer thing?
or the county will be able to tell you, it's not an automatic thing.
Okay.
But, because sometimes you could be in the growth area, you could be in the water and sewer master plan as a no plan service
Okay.
at some point, and, you know, until 25 years from now. And you would still technically be in the plan,
Right.
even though the plan says we got no plan for you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If that makes sense. It gets a little convoluted, and I wish Javier were here because he's probably better at that than I am.
So if I wanted to go to the county, who would I talk to see if it's in the water and sewer plan?
Well, well, it's not Daphne, she doesn't do the water and sewer plan directly, but I would start with Daphne Daly, and ask her, Daphne Daly, or Chris Hunt, and say, tell me, if you know Chris better, tell me who to talk to.
Okay.
And it's kind of like, tell me what you want me to do. But we can follow up on that idea of talking to, JP and whoever, Daphne works closest with the planning commission. She's like the deputy director who's at all their meetings and does all their stuff. But we could find out from those people what the best way is to approach the county planning commission, and maybe the fact that we anticipate that the new plan will exclude you might be enough to have them exclude you. Kind of doubt it, to be honest with you, but it might, I don't know.
Okay, well,
There may be a way to skin the cat, I just don't know what it is.
okay.
I think this might be the answer. These are the maps without any adjustments to the growth area.
Oh, the answer to whether you're in or not?
Yeah,
Okay,
and here's the water,
the existing maps.
yes,
Alright.
and here's the sewer. And that area is included,
But
because the
but
red
it's
is-
included as long-range future.
Oh,
That's what I was saying, and
okay.
same with this
Yes.
guy, long-range future. So you're in, but there's no plan to serve you,
Right.
at least at this point, so you, yeah,
I'll talk to Chris. I'll start with him.
go for it.
Anyway, I thank you very much for letting me come in and look forward to working with you to get it done.
Thank you, Phil.
Thank you, Phil.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Phil, what,
Yes.
the sequence is that when this plan is, we finish this, it's essentially a draft, goes to the town council for them to accept it.
Right.
And then once they're legislative body.
They're the legislative body.
They'll accept it, or they'll come back, and certainly this will be highlighted as one, you know, some of the changes from the previous.
Okay.
But I don't recall what happened 15 years ago. I don't think they could do like, we just, the whole plan, except
Yeah, well,
in general.
they do go through it item by item to make sure it doesn't say in there that we're gonna, you know, tear down Lower Main Street and put up high rises.
They're gonna find
No,
out about
no,
that plan?
please.
Sneak it in.
I'm sneaking that in.
But,
It's a sub-addendum.
they do. But there was no controversy, and I can't imagine there being any controversy, actually. The property off of, Sling of Flame, that was
Ricky's
lease
gonna
property,
use
came out,
Right.
but it's a long time ago.
That was a lot.
Before we were doing the last time.
That was probably at least 15, 20
Yeah,
years.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
I don't like to think it was that long ago, because I remember it, so it can't possibly be that long ago.
Oh,
I was on the commission at the time, so.
Yeah.
oh, really?
I'm still going to, and I'm not sure if this helps or not.
Right.
You have an email address?
I do.
Okay.
I don't think I have a card with me
Well,
now.
could you write one here? Because I want to send you a letter saying that we voted to include this in the group area.
So I'll go ahead and send it to you.
And I'll also put in there that the water and sewer is future extension, whatever the word is.
Okay.
Yeah,
That
that
in
showed
there.
like
But this is
15
what
or 10-year
this
plus,
really helps me, because
Right.
I was talking with Javier, who was here when you did your presentation.
Oh, yes, I think I remember.
Yeah, I think that may have been his first. But
Yeah.
yeah, Javier was here, and so I will do a letter to you, but the caveat is, we have approved it, but that's still
Has to be
contingent
council.
on approval from the council. And there's no way you would have that
And I'm in no super hurry, I just threw some dates out.
Sure.
I would like to, just present one other thing here.
Come back for alcohol.
Thank you. Hey, this is just, I know Drew would probably be interested in this, because I know how he likes his history. And I'm sure this is in the town files. But I'm going back to 1908. This is a deed that was made on the 23rd day of July in the year 1908 between George P. Engler and Mary S. Engler, his wife, of Carroll County in the state of Maryland, and herein called the parties of the first party tier and the Burgess and Commissioners of New Windsor, a corporate body of the state of Maryland.
Yeah, was there for someone.
And basically, this is the document that the Englers gave to the town for the property and the easement for the water line. In 1908, it was $100.
Wow.
I have a special budget meeting.
And somewhere in here, I know it's in here and I haven't found it yet, but somewhere in here, the easement is defined as what it would take to turn a team of 4 horses and a wagon around.
Yes, I remember that in the tour, they talk about that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just thought that'd be it.
Is that a copy?
I tell you what, I don't have I'll let it here and you want
I
to make
think I have
copies?
the original in the lockbox.
Oh, do you?
I think I've read that one,
Because
yeah.
you can have this and make copies. My copier won't make legal.
Yeah.
So I can let you have it. I'll pick it up sometime.
No problem, I'll have it run this for you tomorrow.
Great, thank you.
Thanks, Phil.
Okay. Thanks again.
Thanks, Phil.
Did you have another one of these?
Yeah, you can, if he does it.
I do, but it's not, I don't have a color one.
Here, keep it.
Okay, I don't
Oh,
know.
okay, sorry.
I can give you that one.
All right,
Okay.
that's enough, the color doesn't matter.
Okay.
No, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Phil.
Thank you, Phil.
Next item is when the minutes and the agenda were sent out, there were also an attachment about 2 projects at the Lions Club Park. And there were the 2 projects, and I'm hesitating because when, I'm not sure if everybody on the planning commission knows this. We have a gentleman who splits time between us and at least Union Bridge, is it?
Union Bridge, yeah.
Just Union Bridge. And he's a grant writer. He's paid a nominal fee, and one of the things that he does, I remember, he got us a grant to help up here with Town Park and in various projects around town. What we have here is another example of with Project Open Space. Somebody has to go through the process of putting together the documentation to go through and be able to get these grants. And it's a couple $1,000s a year that the town pays to have this person, more than pays for himself. Spend the time to get some grants for the town, which essentially means it doesn't come out of the town's money. So this is an example of 2 projects that he has, and I don't know if anybody's had a chance, or I'm hoping everybody had a chance to look at those, and if anybody had any comments about those. Otherwise, I'd like to get a motion to accept that the 2 projects, and that the letter I left, I think through that package you asked me if I wanted it.
I think it was just,
So is that the letter?
yeah.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate it. a motion that we review the project plan for the Maple Avenue Lions Club Park Pavilion improvements. It's consistent with the new Windsor Community Comprehensive Plan. I get somebody to make.
I'll make that motion.
Grace made a motion, seconded by Drew. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. Very good. Oh, by the way, I didn't mention his name, Mike Reynolds. It's called the Circuit Rider. I think that's a cool
It's great,
name.
yep.
And we'll see how it works.
It's a whole program.
Yeah,
in the state.
It's state funded.
Yeah.
That's why there's not.
So there's a bunch of them, I think, around, especially in the smaller towns.
Exactly. This kind of position, you know, the larger municipalities can afford, well, I shouldn't say can afford, but they make a decision to hire a position that would be a grant writer to go after some of the smaller jurisdictions like us. It's a little more difficult to have that. Because it's the constant battle to have enough funding for the staff that we have, let alone to have something like this that's specialized. So it's good to have somebody that's got the expertise to do that. Now, if only the state would have a planner. And it's two projects, the Lions Club Park, the shingles and gutter replacement and the painting. Okay.
Mark, you have a copy of that letter there to sign?
Yep.
Okay.
So both projects are at the Lions Club.
Yes.
Okay.
One is the roof shingles and gutter replacement, and the other is interior and exterior painting of the block wall repair.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are you requesting proposals for that yet? Is there?
I have that.
Don't know that they've done that yet. They have to get the funding first, and then I'm sure it'll go out, yeah.
Oh. I know.
Lose it now, just when we get to the deep thought.
All right. I think I recall last month, Dave says we can just roll through this. Yeah.
Well, I guess, yeah.
I was gonna just say slide down. I like these chairs better.
So far.
Okay.
Big stuff.
Loud enough.
Yeah. Hobby or even Friday. Well, most of it is, go here, go here, go here. That's all I got.
The screen that we have in my office, in our conference room in my office, is about the size of that wall.
Oh, geez. We've got one about that size.
Chairs.
But it's also, you can go up and use a marker and draw
Yeah,
on it.
that's what our,
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those touch screens.
I just wanted 65, 75, 85, I don't know, it's just right over there, so I can see. They put stuff up there, I can't turn around and see.
No, no, you can't.
I was talking about this with Dave, we're gonna do a final invoice for her, because I know there were meetings that she was at, she hasn't. Put something together, because I know there was money in the budget this year.
Tires and everything.
Well, it's not great, but like 500.
We did it.
So before the.
If somebody look on eBay, you're bound to find a deal. Because my boss bought a used one. That's where he got his for the office.
There were days that we know she was here.
And well, it should at least be reviewed by her before she's submitted.
Yeah, okay.
She showed up at last minute. Because she,
But I mean, I know that I have reached out to her about an invoice and nothing was ever sent.
yeah, I know.
So I mean, I don't, can we,
Well, that's problem, I have some qualms, about us.
Well, we have an agreement and there were meetings that she was at.
No, I just think she should review and approve whatever you say is her invoice, that's all I mean.
Okay.
And that protects you guys too.
Sure.
And it protects me and it protects you. I'm very happy.
Alrighty. So, what do we got on square feet? This is where we begin.
So I would just say, page 1, anybody have any changes? No, move on to page 2.
Now, this sequence will be, once we start getting up to like 3 or 4, we'll start jumping off a little bit, but this is the same order as the way, like you said, Dave, you already got your notes on that other one, so.
Right.
But, okay, so nothing on page 1. Page 2. Not hearing anything, page 3. All right. Page 4.
There in the draft, underneath meeting the 12 visions,
Okay.
it says, okay, down farther. Down farther. Keep going. Right there, it says
Oh, there it is.
the 2007 New Windsor Community Comprehensive Plan implements the 12 visions. Should we not be updating the 2007 now to reflect the current date? Should be 2025.
Or should we just take the date out?
Let's look at the actual text here.
I think it should be 2025.
Yeah, so do I reading the rest of the paragraph.
No. Sorry,
All right.
that was a mean laugh. I couldn't help myself.
That was.
That was a mean laugh. But it fell in order, you're okay.
Last, when the waitress starts to try it out, so do it. So we know that.
Do you guys want a table? Here,
No,
we can just move that in.
no, sorry.
You can move up to the desk.
Sorry.
Maybe it might be better instead of going by page number, probably go by the head, how's that? So that was it, that's a good catch. We're in chapter 2, no?
And page 5. Yeah, right there. No, no, he just changed that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That says page 5. Okay, continue down. And right there. Okay, that, we went away more.
The 2003 thing at the,
The adequate, oh, where'd it go?
Did you find what you?
Yeah, I found what I wanted.
I'm
You
just
were there.
indexing this so I can keep it separate.
Okay. The last sentence you have there, the town also updated their adequate public facilities ordinance to address these same issues on the municipal level in January of 2003. And my question was, is this the last time it was updated? 2003.
I don't think there's a good chance it was, but we can find it out.
I thought we
Okay,
did
so that
that.
was just a question. and-
Yeah.
yeah, I was wondering about the validity of the date.
Didn't we do it in 2010 or something?
That's not the APFO ordinance.
Oh, that's not, okay.
That
Who would be able to answer that?
probably me and maybe Dana, all we have to do is get the code and see what it says. That should be probably.
Isn't it? Where are you?
Page 6.
Okay, go ahead. You're good. Keep going.
Well,
Keep going.
page
You're good.
6, 7.
You're good.
Yeah, what's
Well,
the-
this is Carroll County, oh, vision is there, this is 6.
Oh, you know
Well,
what,
it's
you know what,
chopped off.
no, I made, and I had a comment from a couple people, I made the font larger here,
Oh, that's,
so that's why the numbering scheme more. We have older eyes, so like,
Yeah, I think I was one. Small.
I'm not naming names, that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm noticing that all of us have glasses.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
All of us, yeah, it's unanimous, okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Only if I want to read. My arms just are too short.
Keep looking up
Carroll
and down.
County vision, keep going.
Yeah.
Carroll County's goals,
Keep going.
okay.
I had no changes on 9. I had nothing.
Okay, right there, keep going a little farther. New Windsor's goal is the third paragraph. That is the actual, where you go? Right here, went too far, back up. Right there.
Okay.
That third paragraph is the goal. I mean, is our vision, so I think that should be italicized.
The entire,
Yes, because the paragraph above it says the following vision statement was adopted, and so that should be italicized.
so italicizing is easy. I think that's what, is that what you need there?
Well, I wanted it, he italicized it, but you think it should be condensed like that?
No, no,
I don't care. I just think it should stand out as our.
Now, I wouldn't worry if, well, yeah, no, that's good.
on a star or something?
No.
No, I think indent, bold, and italicized.
Lawyer writing is different from normal people writing. So that's good.
I'm an accountant. I
You don't
that's
use
why-
words at all.
That's right, I'm not looking for words, this is where we start. Okay. Okay, community comprehensive, that's good catch, Dave, I like that. Community comprehensive planning goals. That percent of the way. Plan structure. I'll double check just to make sure these numbers are still right.
So the concept for this chart is that these required elements are met, the ones on the right side, are met by the adjacent chapter on the left side.
Yes. And I would think this thing that our buddy Julian Press was mentioning would probably be one of these state required elements.
I'm just pulling up.
Housing and community design, maybe. I got a sandwich and a cup of coffee the other day, and I thought I'd sit down. When I saw it was 196 pages, I started to scan it. I kind of drifted off.
We did that on purpose, so that nobody actually reads it.
Oh, I know that.
All right, let's make sure we got it.
I kind of hoped she would have to agree, but she says she has, so I did.
We don't really have critical statements here. I guess that's probably in the sense of state. Listed here. I'm going to say that. And this, I looked, I pulled it up on the computer and compared it to this, but I'm holding on my books. Well, let's see what else. can see this. I mean, they have to move things around a little bit, but I just want to make sure it's still on this list. Resource sensitive areas, transportation, and water resources. And we have mineral resources because that's where we are. And so those are the elements, we can put in this other stuff if we want. But so we've got housing and community design here, so we already got it, it's just not listed in our. Yeah, it's not listed as a state required element, but it is, but we've already got it.
In your Bible, it's a state required.
No, it is a state required element, housing,
Okay.
a housing element, but we've got it here as chapter 10, so we just have to put it down here.
So right here. Housing or?
That just says a housing element, but we've got in chapter 10, housing and community design. I think we've got it in the plan, we just have to, that's what I mean. I don't want anybody at any other entity going down with their little pen on their little checklist and saying, well, they don't have it. So we don't have to spend a whole lot of time now doing that, that's easy enough
We got it
to
now.
deal with.
Okay.
So that word, that heading right there, terms used. Should we have a glossary?
How about acronyms?
Well, it's not, they're not all
They're not all
acronyms.
acronyms.
They're not all acronyms. Is that, are they glossary items, or is the word terms used okay? It's questionable.
Well, you know, we are old school and therefore we use real words like glossary. So I would include that as a glossary.
I like that, it's glossary, because it covers maybe.
It covers everything.
And then should it be moved to the front or the back where people would typically find the
Well,
glossary?
we do have that,
We have it where?
I'll show you.
Remind me.
So this is kind of.
Pull it up.
A lot of places put glossaries at the end and I always think that's kind of silly,
No, I
because people
don't.
don't know to go look
We
for
don't
it.
have that. There were two
We have ours at the beginning where.
Some people put it at the beginning as well, and it usually is a great spot, because it lets you know, oh, good, this is what I need to look for.
Yeah.
You may skip it, but you,
I intentionally didn't do this, but there were two, in your package, there, recognize the, the fountain, okay? Then the pages behind it, you won't fool with, because obviously that will change. Table of contents matches what exists right now, but obviously that's gonna change. Then, right after that, I've got lists of acronyms, all of them. So it's picking up what's, and I actually thought about indexing into a page where we define it in
Oh
here.
God, how much time do you want to spend on that?
that's AI. You just ask AI to do it.
Yeah.
Oh,
But it is
take
actually-
advantage of it when you can.
Also, there's a list of maps at the front.
You can't hate AI, you have to love it.
And then all the
It can
tables.
make your life so easier.
Scooted right past this,
Yeah.
but we knew that we were scooting right past.
Right.
All right,
So,
we got it under control.
So what's your plan with the glossary then? Put it there?
oh, yeah,
I did, yeah.
yep, I think that's a
Yeah, good
all
idea.
glossary.
All right.
I'll change that in the, actually,
Question on the page right before that where you have the listing of the elements. And I know that sensitive area and mineral resource elements, I'm guessing they're covered under the natural and agricultural, and that's why they're listed that way.
Yeah,
Do we want to have that repeated in case somebody looks at that and says, why aren't they covering those?
I do this.
Okay. Oh, I like that even better, yes.
How's that?
Yeah, I just, based on what Michelle said, I don't want somebody not checking something off because we didn't show it in a way that they could see it.
We can go back.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
There it is.
Census area is referring to environmentally?
Sensitive areas that are defined in the state as like wetlands and coastal areas. So we really don't have any state defined sensitive areas here. we don't wanna appear insensitive, so.
I was waiting for that. Okay.
Alrighty. Thank you, glossary.
Thank you.
CFO, some of the time, there it is. And on the Cs, anybody have any?
Yep.
Okay. Got rid of Ps.
Yeah.
And right there,
Super elevation.
I think that we should have the R1 says R1 residential district. I don't know that everyone that reads the plan knows what that means. I think we should have the definition of what R1 means. And is R1 one unit to the acre? And
Yeah.
R2 was 2 units to the
You
acre.
know, our one is like 10,000. Well, no, not in ours, it's backwards. So, yeah, I don't know what our one is on.
I thought it was 1 unit.
But it was 1 unit to the acre.
Well, maybe, I'm not.
Well, this is the
residential.
town, then there's the county, which is the 10,000.
Glenn, do you know the answer to that?
What was it again?
What's the definitions for R1, R2, R3? I thought R1 was 1 unit to the acre.
It is, it's density. For all of them are for,
So,
I was backwards in my brain.
okay.
Not-
So I think we should have those definitions there because I don't
Oh, yeah.
know that everyone.
So long as we don't wind up putting something in a definition that could be challenged when you look at all of the uses in the R1 zone. And that is what, I think that our zoning designations are R1, R2, R3, R4. And that's what it says, 11 zoning designations, the specific terms and definitions of which are found in the code.
Okay, so we should,
I'm always,
all right.
because there's a whole lot more
Hold on,
in
Mark.
the code about R1 than you're gonna wanna put in here about R1.
All right, so maybe that's not a good idea.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're telling people, if you wanna know more about these, go to the code of the town of New Windsor.
All right,
they're in what we came up with.
fair.
And even, we even give them the chapter.
Oh, yeah.
In the next chapter, about public participation, don't we want to say through 2025 or at least through first quarter?
That was like,
Yeah, let's take the whole year.
It's just too beautiful. Couldn't say something.
Sometime.
Eventually.
Yeah.
this will be
sometime.
highlighted, may possibly change. I'll even do this. I'd like to think we're gonna wrap that up. Chapter 3. Beginning in the fall of 2021.
You make it later. All of 2021. No, it feels like we can.
Well, most of those meetings we're trying to get soon.
There's some definition down there for that R. Oh, okay. Right down here, 1, 2, and 3 units.
Oh, okay, and that's farther back in
Okay.
Yeah, down there.
pages up.
It's down at the bottom.
Yeah, it's right before summary of new
Oh,
legislation.
okay.
This is 2010. Oh, okay. Anybody have comments here on the progress achieving smart growth principles?
Technical one.
Because I don't know the answer. The water and sewer needs assessment report, is that like a document that's been prepared and finalized, in which case it probably has a title, and then it should be capitalized water and sewer needs assessment? If it's just, not to minimize this, but if it is kind of an in-house looking at that Wayne and Gary and everybody are looking at, then it doesn't need to be capitalized. If it's a document with a title, it should be capitalized, or it should reflect the title.
Where are you?
In the
Dot number 2.
second bullet in progress achieving smart. So that's just a question, and I don't know, again, I'm not sure how to
Was
find
it
it out.
that report that we paid that lady, Grace somebody who came in and did that?
Was that her, or she was Parks?
Was she part, there was another lady member that came in and did water and.
Yeah, there was somebody.
That
who
was,
met
that was
you.
free, wasn't it? Pretty sure.
I think that a couple of them were free, but one way or the other, I think they were reports with titles.
Yeah.
I think they were.
So if we're referring to them, plus it makes it look like it's more important than somebody else did it.
Yes. I think they were.
I think her name was Jill.
Jill?
Jill,
It was somebody.
you know, like James and Jones.
Somebody, we were just
Somebody.
talking about her, it was Jean. Her name was Jean,
Oh,
we were just talking about her the other day,
Ah.
Gary and I.
Well, it should be easy enough then to figure out what the name of that report is.
You're talking about just water and sewer.
Yeah.
Since the Main Street it's gotta get repaved, do we wanna put that in? Cause by the time this is published, it'll have been done.
Will that have any effect on smart growth principles? I don't think so.
Is some of that stuff kind of
Well,
Is it
too old,
It's-
that
it's old.
should be taken out?
That paragraph that's new development,
Yeah,
and redevelopment time, all those things under there are all
That's
old
all
news.
old to me, yeah.
Well, I think the first paragraph's old news too,
Yeah.
but before I do that, there's this water and sewer needs assessment report, somebody's gonna give me the name.
Yeah,
I will look it up.
Can you find that?
Yeah.
thing?
I said, the new water storage tank, that's golly. Unless you're talking about what's up on top of the hill, replacing the reservoir. The chlorinated,
That's not good news.
yeah.
Well,
You know, the things
is
that
it since the 2010 plan? Or is it before I thought this was,
I just changed that, cause this said the annexation has occurred, the very first sentence said 1997.
yeah, but I mean, the new development about the redevelopment of the fire hall is more than 10, was
Oh, yeah,
earlier
it's
than
20,
that,
20 years old.
wasn't it? The new fire hall is old,
That's 20 years.
and the library headquarters is old.
Next October will be.
Should have do that.
The things that I think are new are like the new town hall that we're in right now.
Yeah, you can say, yeah.
That's new.
Fountain Park's new.
Fountain Park?
Upgrade and replacement of the water and sewer line, that's
new.
Yeah, and I think that falls enough under the smart growth thing. One of the plans, the whole plan is supposed to have, community facilities, which is parks and that kind of stuff.
Okay, so new town hall.
Fountain Park,
Fountain Park, I've heard of it.
water and sewer, what did you say?
Replacement of
Water and sewer,
upgrade and replacement.
upgrade and replacement of water and sewer.
It's not everywhere though.
Well, that has to be everywhere.
Is any of the work we've done on the building next door to have it
You know,
be able to be rented? Any of that work considered
well, it's, part of
progress in
the
smart growth?
Dan, what's the word?
I would think it might be, because we're looking to have it developed. and-
Yeah, move it, you know, and continue to upgrade and maintain and
Yeah.
all that stuff that, we hope not to have to do.
Yes.
And I would think the paving of our side streets that we've done, that all adds to smart, because it
It's all part of.
grows the
creating
community.
facilities, I guess.
Yes.
It makes it, easier to live and safer, and we.
Sidewalks,
upgraded
we've-
Stormwater management facilities in
Yeah.
some places, we can just talk ourselves up left and right.
And we should.
Is that a new pumping station, or is that
That's an upgrade.
an upgrade?
Upgrade.
Is that what was just done across by 7-Eleven? Is that?
Yeah.
That's your pump station.
I know, I appreciate it.
Pumping all your stuff.
Out,
Yours-
get rid of my
yours
stuff.
alone.
Just yours. Just
I'm overflowing it, I know. I'm full of it.
That's why they had to replace it.
I have been working from home a lot.
What else you got?
I had a couple notes on there too. Most of them was already covered about the EMS and the library and the Snyder Summit. And then the New Windsor State Bank's been changed to Adams County National Bank. But I also have on here the purchase of the Dealman Inn. I don't know why I had that in my note.
When did that happen? Do you remember?
When did Leo become?
So that was a long time ago.
What's that?
Sam was still
Early.
on Sam was still at the time.
Yeah, that was probably when we were doing this plan.
It was after he was mayor, he was on the town
Oh,
council.
that's right.
Yeah,
So the old man,
yeah. Kevin Knoll and all that.
that's
So it was way back.
I remember those meetings.
I just took out that blurb on the county library. More county offices have moved in there since the,
Is that emergency?
Emergency management.
operations or whatever they're
yeah,
called.
well, and also,
That's what I had on there.
the emergency management office has moved in there. And
I'm sorry, what was that again?
EMS.
there's been more county, departments.
Working out of the old school.
EOC, the 911 centers moved in there. The Office of Emergency Management Chief moved,
Yeah.
their
lots
staff has
out
all
there.
moved into New Windsor now.
That's what I had.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah.
Conserve Center property has been, since this last time we lost the middle school, but we became the,
Bring it up, Brett.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that's.
And you want to change, it's not New Windsor State Bank anymore. I thought it was Atlantic City. I didn't realize it was Adams County. I just saw AC.
I have ACMB.
Yeah.
I think my new bank card says ACMB, not New Windsor anymore. Oh, just got one. Unless my wife took it.
Recent projects, kill that.
recent projects.
Include expansion of the main branch, that whole thing could go.
Okay. Oh, sentence? Oh, yeah, science. That's gone.
Yep.
Walking trail? That's still. Has been construction of walking trail.
Is that the?
Well, the Snyder Summit, there's a walking trail that comes in,
Snyder Summit.
comes into the end of Hillside Drive.
I could say the newest subdivision.
Oh, you know what? There we go. Recent projects include redevelopment of the old fire hall or firehouse.
I wonder in there where you can put, what about the, I don't know, you got it up there at the top.
What was that building called? Where the library headquarters? No, that's not the old, okay, that's
Well,
the old middle school.
Yeah.
Then there's the new old middle school.
I mean, workforce.
I thought that was the high school. I thought that was New Windsor High School.
Yeah.
Not workforce housing.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Workforce housing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's good.
That's good.
Yeah, there we go.
And they're gonna say affordable, yeah, affordable housing.
No, because it's strictly for,
Yeah, that's gotta.
it's specific. Our company.
We were talking about putting in, what's the other, the town pump, the new park, that'd be under different.
Yeah, we've still got a lot of places to put stuff.
By the way, this next paragraph does say clause 1, R2, R3, and you do find 1, 2, or 3, you can see the constructed.
Now, since Snyder Do we want to change this significant amount of land, or do we still want to put that in there? That term. Is there where it says a significant amount of land in this area is designated? In the CPA, so we use. I guess not.
Well, actually, that would apply more, I think, to the off-road.
Okay, yeah.
But they're not in yet, and who knows about them. But they are in the CPA.
And there's density's been not implemented, that's the criteria to include PSA, which is what we were saying.
Yes.
It's pretty good. Slide on down, maybe?
Yep.
All right.
The 97's plan is referred to many times in the next 2 sections.
Yes, it is. Gone back again.
I like referring to it as 2010 convention.
So you have at least 4 of them there you gotta change.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's 2 in that one, and then the new development issues, that's several.
Yeah.
The global,
Yeah.
zero, wow.
I think it's-
Every time I figure out search and find, I can change some of the stuff here.
Are you word experts? Oh, there you go, Dan, can you help with that? Where do I find that? I wanna change the go and take 1997 out and put 2010.
Are we sure we wanna do that through the
Fine.
document?
I don't think you just want to do a blanket change like that.
Oh, yeah, but you're allowed to go through one by one.
You go to the find button right at the top,
Fine.
little magnifying glass.
And then seek, and you shall.
Oh, under search?
Yeah, I have it under my home, so, no, that's your,
Spelling,
No, I don't know that.
word count,
I have it under home.
It's right there, Mark, right above
fine,
legislation, go
Go.
up to the bar, to your right, to your right, to your right, to your right.
Right there?
Right there.
Fine. Oh, how about replace? Don't I want to
Even
replace?
better.
But then you can type in 97 or whatever word, then you can, it'll find it for you and you can replace it as you need fit.
Okay, so it's got all the fines, but I want to replace.
Go to replace, I think.
Are you replacing all of them for
Yeah.
sure?
I think it's safer to replace all of them.
So you can go to replace and then you can find, and you hit whatever, and then you replace it with what you want it and hit replace all.
I figured I'd take a quick look since it goes down.
And now you're jumping way ahead.
Oh, we'll come back.
Look, throwing stuff.
Alrighty. Now we're back to where we were. Summary of new legislation, which we probably might include something from what I learned about credit requests. This is, I know in my notes, is where we were going to get something from price. He said recently. Well, so new legislation isn't,
These are on page summary of new legislation. This is on the copy before.
discussion of new development issues. I'll keep going down right here.
Keep going.
Chapter 4. Now we start getting into some numbers. So we get to the chart. The words that I wrote. Decadal is a word.
It is a word,
I know.
it's an odd word, but it's a word.
So 14, I saw a couple of different numbers for the census for New Windsor. I saw a different number from Gary or Wayne, but what I saw in the census, and when they start giving me details, they came up to 1441, I thought I ought to stay with that number. But you may see another number, I've seen something like 1460, nothing significantly different.
Should we put a blurb in there with the poor response to the 2020 census?
No. Because when you read the census, it says in there, there's a census done, and then there are, I'm using my words now, the professionals, they will make other assumptions to adjust
Oh,
these
and
numbers.
community, okay.
Yeah, and it's not just for us, it's a disclaimer in a lot of the census. I always thought the census is count, this is what you live with, but it's not, they will make assumptions and adjustments. You know, I look at that and think, you know, we've only added 46 people since 2010. You would think
100
that was more,
houses
but-
and 40 people.
But when you start getting into all the details, it comes back to 1441, so.
And do they do the county's formula of like 2.65?
No, I don't think it's that raw. I mean, I think there's other ones that they, was talking about this with, I think it might have been Alex. The other, it wasn't Javier, it was the other person that came last time, gave a presentation.
I don't-
It was just saying, there are some assumptions that they will make. So, that's what we have to live with. So, what I did when I got these charts, for the most part, I tried to replicate what I said last time, but updated numbers. Person, gender, age. And what I also, as best I could, I tried to give a comparison for the last time we had data. And this is one of those that's, when you look at the age block, back in the 20 census, you had 32% in the 35 to 55 range, where they've all dropped down to here now. We don't have as many young as a percentage. So,
Your total's wrong on table 3. No, the next where you're just going to. Nope, you down, table 3. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, table 3, it's 101, it's 100.1, well, wait a second. Table 4, I'm sorry, it's table 4. Table 4, it adds up to 100.1.
it's this round.
Well, we're very special.
So we should change one of them. I don't know which one you want to change, but
Are you
somebody,
talking about one of these?
yeah, because the percentage goes,
Rounding.
That's that other.
drop it to 5.3 then. For the last one, make it 5.3%.
No, we'll do the big one.
Okay.
Is that way it is?
I just have I'm a numbers guy. I looked at that and I'm going, wait a second, this isn't right.
You'll notice the census here, 2020 gonna come to 3726.
Yeah.
This is the breakdown by age. I don't know where to go and
Well,
plug
this
in.
is the election district. That's not the town itself.
Oh, you're right, that's it. That's my mistake. One of the things you gotta be careful of, that's the election district.
Yeah.
I went back here to make sure they were all, always on all. They're the election district.
Yeah.
Okay. They keep playing with the race. I'm pretty sure in the 90 to 2000 census, there were individuals that could be considered more than one race, but that wasn't counted then. So you will see others. These are the numbers. There's your 1541. Racial characteristics. And again, this is the election district. It did not have it specifically for the Windsor. I'm not really sure how much, I mean, we can sit down and read these. Would it maybe make more sense that when you see that I've got 2020 census, that's the new numbers. I can point out, or you could write down, because some of these tables in here I wanted to update, but I didn't get the numbers. And even then I got a few charts from Javier. Got to do some more digging to try to find like another half dozen. Yeah. Okay, household income.
I'm just saying, that's what we got, I think.
Well, which one are you?
No,
Seven?
I'm looking at seven, but, you know, you're watching a movie from the '70s, and the guy makes $30,000 a year, and the women are chasing him around because he's so rich.
Well, I saw some of them I left in there, well, seven is only the 2020.
Yeah, that's good. No, yeah, okay, this is current, but up here, it says 2,000 cents. That's what I was looking at. I didn't see what you said. Yeah, 2,000 cents, because it didn't get changed.
It is on mine.
Well, not on mine, mine feels very left out. Yeah, I'm looking at it here like it's, yeah.
Household income, household income. Oh, you know what, I think I sort of recognize that same thing, I think I wanted to change it.
Okay.
Wow.
And my table 8 also says at the top 2,000 census and at the bottom 2020 census.
Okay,
So-
In fact, they all do.
So is it the actual town New Windsor or the election zone?
At the top, all of them say 2,000. At the top, and then at the bottom, you say
I've
source.
got them here, so it must have been, I wasn't correct. Because I started,
I'm sorry to be being difficult.
no,
I was confused.
okay, so. Yes, and now I printed that, I didn't give you the most recent. Because
Well, that
There
was,
was some
also, you know,
some of them-
so it might not.
I know what you're saying.
and then I got some stuff from Javi, that's probably what it is, you would have no way of knowing. Because some of them I couldn't find.
Well, just before we go to final, just have
Yeah.
to make sure the top and bottom match.
And they do.
They do. Yeah, they don't want to take it.
You're right. trying to avoid by giving you the paper copies so that you would have them.
Well, I can't process that. I do that.
Yeah, just go to the and I didn't, we started getting up to the land numbers that I got from the county that were different. And I don't quite understand why these would be different from the last time to this time, but they were.
You back up a little bit, Mark?
Of course. How far?
No farther, just to be right there. Okay, you changed it to 20. Okay, cool. I'm good.
Okay. No, I just wanted to see something. because
I want to see that last paragraph.
That paragraph.
Right there, hold on.
Is that infill?
That information right there came from Javier?
That information came from, yes, 51, yes,
So that's where their calculations take it?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
All right, so they're, different than what we think. But, okay. We should stick with that.
It's a,
Oh,
that dark.
unincorporated.
Yeah.
portion.
Like this.
They're looking.
There you go.
Okay, good.
all right.
Okay.
Chapter 5, land use growth management. I have no idea what page to tell you where we are. Chapter 5. What was that, Drew, 21?
21?
Good. Yeah, that's the one.
Ah.
Hold on right there for a minute.
Look at that. Appearance by Emily.
The Heidelberg Materials. Okay.
I don't know if you have this one. You have table 10 in yours? Looks like this. Okay. Nope, that's the
Except
old.
all the dates and
That's
everything.
the old, that's old.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
this is the new one.
yeah, it's up here.
Yeah. And then,
Ultimately, I'll get the new one.
so how is the land use in town? 469 now, it's 410. We didn't have more land in town. But this is stuff that's coming from Carroll County Department of Planning and Land Management. So, there's no comparison. I'm not comparing.
Well, comparison is the people's joy.
Is that true that the quarry began in 1994?
No. Of course, it's gotta be old.
No, the quarry's over, but that redevelopment. It's
Pit.
talking about when they.
Quarry pit
started
located.
they had to do all
The
the.
Corey Pit Development Commission now.
Doing something out there, went down.
Oliver.
Whoa!
Mountain of.
Yeah.
A mountain of
Oh,
yellow.
Mount Windsor. Isn't that pretty?
Like
Mount Windsor, yeah.
Don't you like-
We're gonna start skiing off of that. Yeah. It's gonna give us the same vertical as Liberty. You only need about 1,000 feet. We'll probably get there. Especially with the pit. That's a drop. Yeah, I see that dirt and I think about how deep that hole must be.
Issue with that.
Oh,
Issue with, 1994?
very thought how deep that hole must be.
I mean, this is what was.
I look out my
already
bedroom
now.
window and I see nothing
That
but
was in the last
dirt piling
Oh,
up.
yeah, I've gone here a couple times and it's just like, whoa.
Getting bigger.
I mean, if I were to just read that.
And yeah, they're reclaiming more land by knocking houses down. Now it's down to just one.
Grading all around that.
Yes.
70 years
Oh,
from
yeah.
now, it'll be done.
Yeah.
I don't think that's correct.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
They were drilling out there when I was working for the county, because I worked on the mineral resources element, and that's the early days, and they were already underway out there.
That was in,
I
it
swear.
was 94-ish whenever I moved here.
It was not, they hadn't started digging out there yet? Oh my God, today?
Or permitting process, maybe you would want to put there.
What, so the quarry pit development? Or what, quarry pit
Yeah.
permitting initially began in 94?
Or just the quarry pit initial
We
development,
didn't
not
start
development initially
production
began.
Until 2017, where we started crushing and sending up to the plant. That started in 2017.
That's up your end. That's not here.
Yeah, that was here.
Yeah,
So 8 years ago, so that would be 92 years.
Yeah.
I'm withdrawing from this conversation. I don't understand.
What's your pleasure, gentlemen? I don't care. I just felt like
I-
94, I like what you just said.
Permitting?
Why don't you say stone started being removed from the quarry in 2017 with an expected lifespan of 100 years?
Production.
Production sounds fancy.
Production does sound better, yeah, okay.
And that was 2017. So that's when I transferred down from the Union Bridge Quarry.
With an expected, or with an approximate.
Once it's used, once it's depleted, and not until then. the pit
Not
will
if
fill
it-
with water.
Some kind of way.
What's Lehigh called now?
Heidelberg.
Yeah.
I had one here.
It'll become a swim club.
Hanson?
It'll become a swim club.
It was Lehigh Hanson when Heidelberg bought out the British aggregates firm
I guess
Hanson.
that's what Trudy said.
But it is Heidelberg.
Now they made everything all under the umbrella of Heidelberg Materials.
It's terrible.
Worldwide.
What's that movie? They have a movie about the kid with the bicycles. Breaking Away. Was that the movie? It's kids set in an area that has,
For racing, that was Indiana, I thought that was in Indiana.
no,
No,
it's,
breaking
I'm
away.
gonna have to look it up now, but they hang around this quarry
Oh,
and they jump in and out of this quarry. And even when I saw that the first time, me, who's such a swimmer, said,
oh. There's one over on Timonium that you can go, Beaver Dam, Beaver Quarry, you can go in.
Oh, yeah,
It's a great swimming hole.
that's a monster.
They make some serious money.
Inventories of existing use of land. The note I got from Javier says we do not maintain existing land use data. This came from Carroll County Planning the last time. So,
Do we want to just remove it then?
that's my thought. I don't really feel like we're building like this, we gotta go on top of this, it's more like we're just putting data out there.
Yeah.
So, I'm fine, but it's kind of a little disconcerting, though, that it's just, hey, we don't get the support, and now this is an example of something that's not there. Go on. I'll come back and take it out.
Part of that.
outside.
If we take,
What do we do with that?
Oh, yeah, I try hard to at least keep myself for 5 minutes.
Move on.
This be the first time probably you're seeing these.
They don't add up, but I'm gonna be quiet. None of our numbers add up to
No,
100%.
it is. This is-
I'm just gonna be quiet.
This was when we still had an amanuensis.
Oh, you know what? You're looking at what I gave you.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
the only one I have, is the one you gave me. That's the
same
one I'm
one you
looking
have,
at.
they have,
Oh, they're special.
I think.
Yes.
I know, this is more than adequate. The only difference so far has been in these silly
I
numbers.
apologize, I've been having a sidebar for the last hour.
But her numbers being off.
She has the one that you have all your notes in,
Yes.
not the package that I just gave you, I apologize. Some interesting numbers for anybody that wants to look at it. I'll just keep rolling down. I just finished table 13, sliding into current growth management measures, and yell out if there's any comprehensive plan, application, water and sewer master plan, adequate public facilities. No idea where that's at. Analysis of community needs. Town officials do not expect to expand the current corporate town limits significantly. Okay, that's cool. Recommended actions. Number 1, 2, 3. Hold on, remove that. No good. 4. Stop there. Pick up starting in chapter 6.
Yeah.
Well, that was about, a third of the way. Next meeting, the 4th Monday is the 23rd. That's 3 weeks from today.
I will not be here. That's the end of that, so I'll be down there. Maybe I'm not, I'll look over there.
So the,
What are your plans?
I can.
Oh, you just had to talk for a moment.
I feel your pain.
Good, and it's rolling.
This morning, getting out of bed after
Sorry.
playing 7 games this weekend.
That month ago.
Toss that at me. Just toss out, is there a preference to do the 30th instead of the 23rd, or does that matter, we can stay with the 4th?
Doesn't matter.
Stay with the 4th?
Yeah. 23rd still works.
And the next one after that is the 28th. I apologize,
So we are meeting the
because
23rd.
you showed up last
That's
week,
it.
didn't you?
Yes, I did.
And I did the minutes when I was, excuse me, the agenda when I was out of town working from my notes. So I apologize to anybody else that showed up here last week, because that was my initial proposal, we do the day after Memorial Day.
Yeah, I didn't.
We had a discussion here, and we said June 2nd,
Yeah.
but I put as an update at the end of the meeting last time, saying 27th, because when I.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I just looked at my email and saw I wasn't invited to a meeting and figured there wasn't one. To be honest.
I just wait
Well, when I saw the email, I went, wait a minute, I thought it was, so I bothered Dana and then
Yeah,
bothered everybody.
I came down anyway. I was pretty sure there wasn't anybody here, but. So the next meeting is,
The 23rd, the next meeting is the 23rd.
Yeah,
I'm
in town.
Is Tuesday, August
never getting, Mondays usually I'm around.
And don't forget Music on the Main,
Yeah.
the
Mhm.
4th of October. Any other announcements? When's the parade? Boy,
Halloween parade?
I had people come in, they were walking by and wanted to sit outside. I said, no parade. No, that can't be right. All right,
Every day's a parade.
every day. Well, thanks, everybody.
Yep.
Staying awake.
Do we make a motion to
I
adjourn?
would just, again, solicit, if you know of anybody that you quasi like, that maybe you could twist their arm and
To join,
get them to apply to
okay.
the planning commission. I'm 0 for 3.
Oh geez, okay.
And I marked it, we went through, about a year ago, we came up with a process. And, the hope was that instead of just having one person, the mayor,
Yeah,
pick somebody out and say, okay, you do an arm twist, that we would open it up and do it more formality to it, but we're not getting any results from it. So if there's anybody, it's really nice, the spread that we have. We've got, you're up at the reserve.
Yep.
You're up at, we
Blue-
got
Blue Ridge.
We got, Ridge. We got Old Town. Hey, you're Village Center too, right?
Old Town.
Maple Avenue, yeah.
I mean, is that still, but anyway, so it's good that we have, be nice to get somebody from Snyder Summit, but I don't really know anybody in there. Okay, motion to adjourn?
motion to adjourn.
Second.
Kevin, second by Glenn, all those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we're out of here, everybody sign the paper?
Yep.
All right, see you in 3 weeks.
To the person.